Hello, chat. I'm James Craig. I am a self-published author that includes paperbacks, but also includes a free-to-read web novel that is hosted on the site Royalroad. Personally, I write an epic fantasy story on there called The Undying Emperor. I brought on another writer from Royalroad that I've known for a long time. You've been on the channel before, but Akaso is the author of, from the thumbnail, Cherno Caster. And we're here to talk about that today because that's getting what is the official way to say this other than picked up by a publishing house and put everywhere?
Published, just published. It's
sure. You're going on Amazon. Are you getting a one of the files you sent me was for Audible? Are you getting a audiobook version of this?
Yeah, we actually let me check just to be sure. We recently selected potential voice actors, and I'm fairly certain we recently actually confirmed the one that's going to be doing it.
So, for those of you who don't know, Royalroad is a hosting platform that was originally for fan fiction, I think, but very quickly pivoted
specifically for fan fiction of legendary Moonlight Sculptor.
You've got to be kidding me! That story is what started Royalroad.
Yeah,
that's one of the worst fantasy stories I've ever tried to read. Though it's so stupid.
Yeah, a lot of cultivation and web novel classics going back. Like if you go back and read them, they don't hold up great.
I mean, most things don't hold up.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe what we should be doing for those not aware. Hello, Authors Play. Legendary Moonlight Sculptor. How to describe that? It is a hidden piece, super special cultivator progression story where he gets stat bonuses for sculpting things out of materials and eventually literally into moonlight or some shit like that. And it's very bog standard progression fantasy tropes and cultivation with this like veneer of artsy fartsy, poet warrior stuff that bored the hell out of me, to be honest. Do you disagree, Akaso?
I don't necessarily disagree, but you really have to take it in the context of when it was. It's of the time, so to speak. It's kind of like listening to the Beatles and going, "Hey, this is super generic rock."
Yeah. Okay. So what we should be talking about here is Cherno Caster, which is noir cyberpunk / biopunk lit RPG. You gotta get your SEO in there, like literally. I'm joking, but you do.
Yeah, you do have to put it in the title. That's the most basic thing. It's basically the less stupid version of doing the super long title that describes the whole story.
Yeah, it's like. You have to put your tags in the title so that people will actually go check your tags.
Yeah, people don't actually look at the tags.
Betrayed and murdered for daring to expose the deeds of the corrupt, snatched from the void of death by the capricious hands of cosmic coincidence, Brunhilde Kreia finds herself reborn in a bizarre world of magic and conspiracy, eldritch knowledge in her brain and cosmic fire burning inside. She copes with her own death the only way she knows how, by continuing her work in the new world. Ruthless mafiosos, corrupt politicians, even lowly gangsters, there is more than enough work to be found for an investigator with no qualms towards hyper-violence. Do not make peace with evil. Nuke it. Since when are there disclaimers about it being original? Did you put that in?
I don't actually recall when I did that. I think I did it at the advice of someone I was doing like a shout out with, and since seeing as the other guy had much more followers than me, I just did it because it felt like a good idea. Hold on,
you have your own Discord server? Why have you never told me this?
It never came to mind.
Not that I even really use Discord, but that's okay. I see how it is. Okay, so you have your other tagline that's like Harry Dresden meets Cyberpunk 2077. So I got to ask, do you actually like Harry Dresden, or is that just your comp? Because I got told to use Harry Dresden as my comp for Bastion Blackstone. And it's just like, oh, popular work.
I haven't read it, but like, yeah, very interested.
Have you played Cyberpunk 2077?
Yes, I'm playing it right now again.
But you hadn't at the time, bruh.
At the time, no. At the time, I had played 2077.
Okay.
Then again, those are not me. Those are reviews. Like that's what the reviewers
Okay,
said.
fair. I apologize. Yeah, you snipped that from one of the reviews
I
on
didn't.
here.
One of the guys at Moonquill did it. I'm actually seeing the marketing material basic. Well, not now for the first time, but like today I saw it for the first time today. The ads and the stuff.
I'm glad I got to use it for the thumbnail. They did a pretty good job. Actually getting the full title to display even in a truncated thumbnail. It's something I screw up on my YouTube channel all the time. Okay, so there is I would say two ways to succeed on Royalroad. One is a very mechanical method, and that's regarding to the rate you initially release, the quality you recover. Basically just getting enough content on there fast enough that people get sucked in.
Oh, there
Right.
is. Well, I mean, eliminating the factor of luck. If you want to be guaranteed to, or if you want to maximize your chances of success on the railroad, there's basically only one way to skin that cat, and it's functionally exploiting the system, not in the abuse sense, but in the sense of
You abuse
optimizing.
yourself.
Sorry, what?
You're talking about getting on the latest release page, right?
No, that's only one small part, actually.
Oh, all right. I'll keep my mouth shut. Continue.
You wanna line up a bunch of shoutouts early on with larger authors. You wanna line up a bunch of reviews, ideally organic ones, but review swaps are legal under the Royalroad site rules because you need to have a certain amount of ratings to qualify for Rising Stars. And besides that, you want to drop a bunch of chapters to start with, so people have something to get into, and then you want to have a fairly frequent upload schedule, like daily upload schedule for, I don't know, a month, like long enough to really get stuck in on Rising Stars and get momentum. I didn't do this, by the way. I did it. I tried, but I didn't go all the way with optimizing everything.
Yeah, I actually do recommend going whole hog and attempting that the proper way. If someone is seriously trying to min-max their chances of becoming a successful self-sustaining author,
there's a guy.
It seems to be 1,000 times more effective than putting something on Amazon.
Yeah, Royalroad is infinitely if you wanna realistically as an author starting out, first of all get an audience, and second of all start making money, even if it's not much. Royalroad is your best bet. No fucking contest. You're not gonna make basically any money if you just post on Amazon with no pre-existing audience.
Yeah, Amazon is completely swamped by people willing to buy the ads, to buy fame. I'm incredibly black-pilled about advertising, even though I recognize that it's literally necessary if you are anywhere that just isn't flush with people willing to give you a try.
Hell, even advertising is better on Royalroad.
Yeah, that's the wild thing. For my web novel, I release once a week, which is not actually enough. It's enough to keep people interested, but I'm not growing much. But my plan is I'm going to release a standalone tie-in book to my stuff. I'm going to put that on Amazon and be kind of hey guys, I don't charge for the 7 novels you've read for free. If you want to support me, the ebook's $3.99. And when I release that, I'll probably drop money on Royalroad ads and see what happens. Because I think there's a lot of synergy there.
Yeah, that should work, I think. You especially won't get any backlash from stubbing anything.
Sorry, I got sick this week and it will not go away. Like it actually has been screwing up my video recordings all week because my nose will just clog and then I can't talk loud enough to clear the noise gate. So there's water.
Yeah. Sometimes my hay fever just goes off. Like it just decides something flew in my nose. Day gone. I'm just sitting here sneezing, not able to.
Right. Okay, so the mechanical aspects we could probably come back to, especially if people start showing up with questions about how to do it. But I said that was one of two ways to succeed. The other way is just having a good story, which the bar to like the minimum quality level is not particularly high.
It's not that high. Like hell, you could come up with the most basic. Like you could just do the Bulgaria. Like you could just do the hero's journey, sprinkle in a little bit of progression fantasy, and you're good. Just execute on it, and you will get readers. The execution is the hard part.
Yeah. Dude, there is this weird mindset that some people have that if you aren't doing something original, why are you doing it at all?
There's nothing
And that
original
is like a plague among agents and editors and like loser writers, basically, because consumers just want the same shit they already like.
Yeah. Besides, there's nothing original under the sun. Like, you think Cherno is original? Fuck no. You think Retribution Engine, my other book, is original? Fuck no. It's just everything I like put together in a pot and stirred around.
Hell yeah, man.
But it like, seems original because I stirred it enough.
I'm in a really weird spot with Undying Emperor because nothing about it feels original, particularly because like I basically just read history books for my inspiration. What I keep asking people is literally anybody else writing a story like this. And I've never once gotten so-and-so writes a book like this. Yeah. That's an open question. I want to read someone else doing what I'm doing, and I can't.
Like, you could go and read other kingdom builders, empire builders, but I strongly doubt someone else is doing Alexander the Great, but Lilith RPG.
All right, so Cherno Gaster. The marketing material says Harry Dresden meets Cyberpunk 2077. What do you say it is? What did you smash together for Cherno Gaster?
I ripped off Rot Flesh. The game Rot Flesh is what caused the creation of Cherno Gaster.
I'm not familiar.
It's a biopunk first-person shooter where you play as a Gagetian flesh cultist. That is to say, a walking holy relic that is put together from the body parts of long dead other saints of the Gagetian cult. It's not at all. I think it's like 2020, something like that.
Yeah, because Cherno Gaster was only 13 months. My eyebrows shot up when I realized that you got this much success in 13 months.
It's 2021.
Wow, is it on Steam?
Yeah, it's on Steam. I actually found out about it by finding the devlogs on YouTube. And like the main character designer really stuck with me. Like, I didn't necessarily take a great deal from it, but like that was the initial spark, I think.
All right, sorry, you said
doing all the biopunk. Rot Flesh.
Type it out in chat. Is it not on Steam? Rot Flesh. Got it.
Funny ESL pronunciation.
Oh, shut up. I don't need to get copyright strikes.
Like, that game gave me the initial idea for the predominant church and the predominant culture and the whole how heavy I went on body modification in the setting and how I like the direction I took the body modification as opposed to typical cyberpunk. Like, you're not gonna be getting like 2077 male strummers or like Robocop. Like you have that kind of technology, but mostly you're gonna be getting people having other people's arms sewn on. Like mostly you're gonna be getting Elden Ring grafting more than cybernetics.
So why'd you think that was cooler?
Uh,
Just has that visceral appeal, and it's slightly different. So it's something that isn't overdone.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I already do like cyberpunk and body modification and transhumanism has been a major influence on all my work. Like in Retribution Engine, a lot of people have replacement limbs because of the big war, and a lot of people have replacement organs and that kind of thing. And it's part of the cultivation system. Like when you're doing cultivation in Retribution Engine, you're doing body modification inevitably. And the same thing went for Sand and Legends, my first long form project that I dropped because of massive burnout. That was a cyberpunk western.
Yeah, that's the one that I reacted to your first chapter a while ago. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, basically I was just doing like, I was thinking, how would I mix things up? How would I make this interesting? So I changed the fundamental nature of the body modification system, and I generally changed the technology. The technology base in Chernocaster setting it's highly advanced, but it's also completely different. Not completely different. It's a different direction. You're not getting electrical power station. You're getting it's functionally an oil economy, but but you get oil from hunting giant monsters.
Based. Okay. So when someone say cuts off their arm and they're apparently trying to get a lava arm that I assume can shoot radiation or something based on your artwork here,
That's
not a human arm. I'm assuming
that she actually got that as her reincarnation gift.
Of course, reincarnation gifts. How could I forget?
It's her classic golden finger. But the way it looks, it actually looks like a affliction. It looks like she's got anathema burns. Like anathema is a dangerous type of magic. Like in terms of magic, you've got normal magic, you've got thoma burning, and you've got thomic fusion. And thomic fusion is much more powerful, but it's also extremely difficult to control, and it irradiates you. It poisons you. Because the impurities produced by thomic fusion, basically nobody has the capabilities to deal with those impurities and flush them out of their system, so they just build up and poison you and give you this horrid sort of coal-like, lava-like complexion. And a fair few people use it because it's incredibly powerful, and you end up with sort of crackheads. And they're fiending for painkillers and shit.
Fair enough.
And so usually if you have an arm like that, you're going to get it cut off and replaced. And it's a plot point a couple times that, oh, she has an anathemist arm, but it moves normally. What the fuck is that?
Okay, so specific example aside, are people that are modifying their body with other biologicals, are they normally just getting other human parts? Are they going to monster parts? Are they doing gallimancy or something?
Basically, it's a bit of column A, a bit of column B, really. You've got if someone loses their arm and they go to the church and go, hey, I need an arm, the church will find them an arm for free and give them an arm for free, but they're gonna have to wait like a couple weeks, a month, depending on where they are. The church often, if you get a limb replaced and it works, the church will just take it as payment and like give you a discount, or even just accept it as payment based on the value. So if you have a busted arm, you want to get it replaced quickly, the church will take it, fix it, refurbish it, and give it to someone else. Yeah. So
I can't ever look at this anymore without thinking Full Metal Alchemist. Like, it was so literal.
Yeah.
But it's so like Full Metal Alchemist is fucking great. Don't
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's a favorable comparison. So you've got you've got organic, taken from other people. You've got vat grown stuff. You've got stuff taken from monsters. You've got like replacing your muscles with the muscles of a monster. That's the most common thing for strength. Like if you're gonna be doing serious work, like hunting monsters, the first thing you want to do is work your way out weaker monsters and take parts from them as you go along and power yourself up that way.
Okay, so your main character died in her world, got
Why
reincarnated into. Sorry?
Why an Ashkenazi band?
Yeah, you got me.
Like, elaborate on that. I'm confused.
So your main character dies in her world, gets reincarnated in this world, and just tries to continue life being violent and investigating things.
She's basically she gets assassinated by quote unquote them, by basically the Illuminati, so to speak. She was trying to undermine the system and find the people actually behind the scenes in her world of origin, in Gamma world, so to speak. And she got assassinated when she got close. And basically, it was so devastating to her mentally that the only way she can cope with it is by continuing the same work, trying to find corruption and digging into the filthy corners of the world. She doesn't know how to be anything other than that.
Okay, so what is the basic plot line that you're iterating? Is this investigations? I mean, you call it lit RPG. Are you actually just doing see problem, get stronger to overcome that problem, discover new problem, repeat?
To a degree, like it's not that straightforward of a cycle, but there's a very clear power ladder. So like she has to get stronger if she wants to actually come after the people that she's targeting mentally.
Hold on. We have talked a while ago that one of your antagonists is the end state of a cultivator. Is that this story, or is that
no? That's the other one. The big bad on the horizon in Retribution Engine is a cultivator that has finished his book and is the Emperor.
Okay. So, coming back to Cherno Caster, explain what is the question that you open early in the book that is keeping it going? Because when I look at stories on the craft level, I look at it as the story is offering to tell the reader something that they want to know, and the developments of the story make them want to know the answer more, and because that's what the story does, is it tells you things, so they have to want to learn something. That's typically mysteries, or like, will they get together? Like a romance is, do they get together at the end, even though you know that they have to because of the genre.
Man, that's a tough question. I don't really think about my writing like that.
Sometimes it gets a little tricky because, like with Undying Emperor, my story is written from the perspective of a history text after it happened. So it's taken as a given that he conquered the world, and it's the explanation of how he did it. But I try to be pretty clear that, yes, the unkillable dude does survive. However, I make no promises about anything else.
Well, fuck me. Putting aside, like...
I got some tough questions here.
Yeah, that's actually pretty... I suppose the very first question at the start is, who actually is behind the kidnapping of Cassius Aristides, because that's the inciting incident.
The
Like,
inciting
who
incident
is
in the New World?
the inciting incident in the New World once Craig actually gets to civilization is who kidnapped this banisher, who kidnapped this walking holy relic, who would make these dumb fucking gangsters so confident, or who would make these gangsters such an offer that they would want to kidnap this guy. I would say that
Okay.
that's kind of the inciting question, and that's
I mean, I
also
think I can cut you some slack there and say that the first question that you're opening is, does the daughter get rescued? Right?
huh?
Yeah, all right, you said the inciting incident is a noble girl got kidnapped by gangsters, right? Did I miss that?
Not girl, but yeah, a guy. Cassius Aristides is the later on
My bad.
becomes the deuteragonist.
Okay, well, the first question of the inciting incident is, does that guy survive? Does he get rescued? Right?
Yeah,
But from the sounds of it, you don't actually have an endpoint. Do you have a not that I'm asking you to spoil it, but do you have an end to the story in mind?
I have an end of the arc.
Spoken like a
the way I
true
the way I see web serial
successful
writing.
author right there.
Yeah,
I can
the
get
way-
here to where I can get the book out, and then I can prepare for the next one,
yeah.
or I can pivot,
Yeah.
or I can move on to this.
That's really how it is. In the way I see web serial writing. Actually, no. Let me go back. The way I write is like I don't plan it out. I don't plan out everything. I don't pull out and this and this and this and this and this and like this and like this and like this. I set up like guideposts, like this needs to happen and this needs to be like this. But then I let the story grow between those, and sort of like guided gardener approach, so to speak. A lot of
I
the
get the partner
writing
distinction.
Yeah, a lot of the writing gets done when I'm actually writing.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you do it any other way. The people who actually do like detailed outlines, I don't understand how they have a passion for writing. Like that would just kill me to go from a paragraph summary to a scene by scene breakdown to actually writing the scene. I would have no love for what I was writing if I did it that way.
When I'm writing, a lot of what makes me write is seeing where it goes for myself, much like a reader would want. Like the whole reason I started writing like this to begin with was that I couldn't find stuff that was written specifically for me. So I went, oh, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Hey, nice. That's a great reason.
Oh. Actually, I'm gonna uncover some deep lore. The reason I went to writing, like the reason I made the transition to writing was because I was doing error noise. What? Anyway, sorry, I just got a Windows error noise for some reason. So as I was saying, I have a background in text roleplay, like going back to Google Plus. That's why I started writing when I was like 13 on Google Plus, role playing as fucking Rumble from League of Legends.
Okay. Yeah, no, that works.
Yeah.
People actually probably underestimate how much that helps, because if you can't keep the other person's attention when you're literally talking to them.
Exactly. And over time, I became the guy with the really nice character profile and really good responses. And I just couldn't find other people that I found it satisfying to roleplay with. I had like 2 people by the end that I regularly roleplayed with because they were the only ones who could actually keep up and wouldn't just drop me and wouldn't give single line responses. And I went, I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yeah,
I'm sensing a pattern here. I'm just gonna stop involving myself with other people and do it all myself.
Yeah, so I have a long history with D&D, which is it's basically the same problem.
Yeah, I did do tabletop role playing for a while as well.
You in order to have a good role-playing group for Dungeons and Dragons,
Impossible.
you need to somehow have 5 people, one of those is yourself, who are actually good at role-playing,
Yeah.
actually want to role-play, and
Yeah.
are not autistic assholes.
Yeah. Pick
And
two.
getting all 3 of those to line up in 5 people,
Pick
pop-
2. You can only pick 2 out of 3.
pretty much. Because like even if you go to like authors that are like objectively great at writing, they're first of all they don't necessarily write fast. Second of all, there's no reason to think they're actually like nice people to chat with. They might be. They usually are if they're successful in the industry. But it's just like the skill set of being a good creative writer does not necessarily imply anything else about the person.
Yeah, it strangely doesn't translate to role playing. Like I am not nearly as good at role play. No, it doesn't translate to voice role play specifically.
Yeah, so nowadays I definitely advocate that people treat D&D as a comedy. It works way better that way.
I find that campaigns have a habit of becoming like that, whether you want it or not.
All right, we're not here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, mostly
True.
because tabletop has been destroyed by video games, in my opinion. There's no reason to play Dungeons and Dragons in 2024.
I think there's still a reason, but
Have you
it's
played
true that
Vermintide 2?
a lot of the reasons you would play tabletop have been fulfilled by video games, and now tabletop has its own niche.
The only thing tabletop has, in my opinion, is if it's in person. Because like couch co-op is a thing that video games have abandoned. So if you want to physically get around and play something with your friends, there's still that. But even then, board games are just a better experience. Like I'm sitting on Gloomhaven, trying to get a group in person for that. And everyone I've ever talked to about Gloomhaven is just like, yeah, there's no reason to go back to D&D until you finish Gloomhaven because it's just better.
Huh. Yeah, I have a lot of opinions about tabletop that I could spill my spaghetti, but I'm not gonna.
Maybe on a different stream. I do invite people all the time on to shoot the shit while I play video games, and I will happily bitch about tabletop. But we should be probably talking about the Cherno caster, because one of the things I did want to do on this interview was to dig into the excerpt, because you're one of the few people brought on that has actually was initially indie, did all their own editing, and then you got a professional editor to fix your shit.
Yeah.
So. Do you have
Spain
to say before I start digging into this excerpt? Because I want to talk about the giant technical shit, and anyone in chat who is a little warded off by that, make sure you like and subscribe before you go.
A little word of warning about the excerpt. There's a fairly chunky initial sort of world exploration arc that doesn't get into like the bulk of the story for Chernocaster. It's like 20k words. So if you wanna skip ahead, you can.
Okay, so where should I be skipping to? Chapter 7?
Yeah, I'm checking. Hold on.
Did you give me an excerpt that starts at chapter 6, which is a big like, bro? That's why.
Oh
chapter
no,
1 is how you get people to go click on the link in the description.
The excerpt is actually correct. The excerpt starts basically where she got to the main city.
Okay. So you'll have to deal with my my voice acting. I'm not no promises of even attempting to go through an entire chapter. I just kind of want to get into it and talk about what it was like working with the editor.
Yeah, no, the actual
experience,
proper chapters are way fucking longer than the ones on the Royalroad, obviously.
How long is your average Royalroad chapter?
Okay.
I feel like mine are simultaneously longer than average, but also too short.
I'm gonna admit readily here that I basically chop it up. Like I write and I chop it up into roughly like roughly 1K sized chapters.
I think that's normal on Royalroad, which is super weird
It's
to me.
usually it's more like 1,500, but yeah, it's normal.
I try to write around 2,000 because that's just like how my brain has been trained to start an idea and develop it to a resolution.
Like, yeah, no, I get
need
that.
about...
I tried. I was writing 2K with Sand and Legends, and I tried 2K with Retribution Engine, but like by the time I tried 2K again with Retribution Engine, I had been so like acclimated to the daily rhythm of write, publish chapter, that I just couldn't. I just got completely fucked up.
Are you only working on Cherno right now?
No, I'm working on engine as well, but I'm also struggling to generally. I'm struggling with output. I'm not really. I'm not nearly where I would want to be.
Okay, so are you still? How often do you release a chapter right now? Because you said you start with daily.
Maybe like twice a week right now, for both of them.
I don't feel nearly as bad with my once per week update then.
Yeah,
That means we're releasing about the same amount of words.
I
every
actually
week.
feel really bad about my output right now.
Dude, mine has gone to crap. I blame going insane over winter refusing to end. It's almost May and grass was still frozen this morning.
I like winter. It's preferable to summer.
Winter is fine for 3 months. This is going on 6.
Yeah, no, I really like winter much more, perhaps because of the spring brings allergies, and life is pain.
Yeah, anyway. I might be spreading myself too thin though with trying to keep up on things like the book club, which is linked in the Gilded server on the description, where we're going to be live streaming Fyodor Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground soon.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to keep up with all those different things at once.
Yeah, the reading, the writing, the YouTube, trying to also have a social life and a day job. Let's not forget the day job. I've also like gotten really heavy into the gym again. I've started painting my miniatures again, which you may have seen me posting a bunch of Warhammer 40K stuff. My writing has been the casualty, and it really upsets me. Okay.
Can you pull up the someone here says they hate the cover art. Can you pull up the full image?
I think he's talking about Gloomhaven's art, not yours.
Oh, I'm stupid. Okay.
Yeah, that comment came a while ago. He also wants to know favorite tabletop game. I'm a Kingdom Death player, and I'm literally going to have to like put that in my dating profile on the apps or something and say, don't even swipe on me if you won't play a 36-hour board game campaign. Because like there's no other way of actually playing Kingdom Death, apparently.
We are doing some. There was a train of thought that we lost, and I forgot what it was. Fuck.
Author's Pledge is taking swings at me. All right, so we're going into chapter 6. Enough of this. Moving on. Let's see if I can even talk for extended time. Chapter 6. Entering the city was simple. It wasn't walled, though the road by which she had entered was guarded. The guards wore no visible armor, save for chunky belt buckles with a conspicuous lever on the right-hand side. Is that what switches it from Wombo to Mini?
They're Kamen Rider belts. Legally distinct. Yeah, they're. I made transformation belts the warrior side of my magic system.
Base. I like it. But by the way, what's with the gun? You have gone into depth about your love for this gun before.
Yeah, it's an 1896 Bittner. It's a ring trigger gun, which is an intermediary operating system that existed for like 5 years before semi-automatics took over.
Okay. Do your readers notice? Because I have thought really hard about what I should be doing in my talk about guns.
I've been asked about the gun enough times to remember that I've been asked about the gun.
Fair enough.
Like usually,
maybe I
is that
should
a
give
real
more
gun
shit.
or did you just make it up? It's technically it's an alternate version of the real gun. It's because the real gun used very small caliber black powder cartridges, which piddly, and I made it use much larger, much more powerful cartridges. So it has to be bigger.
Okay. Their uniforms, simple as they were, projected an aura of just good enough professionalism. One was a human, and the other a humanoid crocodile. She'd seen weirder, both from cyberized animals to gene modders. Why'd you choose cyberized as your conjugation?
It sounded right at the time, and the editor didn't complain about it.
I mean, it's a made-up word, so you definitely have the right to say that. But I've never seen cyberized in another work.
I've seen it before, but I don't remember where. I'm 100% certain I didn't make it up myself.
Fair enough. They looked her over, the human raising a monocle before clearing her for entry. She made her way through the city, taking note of the people she saw as she calmly explored the place. Besides a vast variety of lizard men, she also saw a few lanky, insectile humanoids that incessantly rubbed their hands together. Flymen, perhaps? Akaso, shut up. As Kreia. As Kreia continued along the road, she came upon an apparent gathering place, a temple of some sort with a bronze statue of an impeccably chiseled, long-haired man out front who was tearing his chest open, revealing 3 golden hearts inside. Hymns extolling some figure named
Zavesh.
I need to zoom in on this because my monitor's too far
It's
away.
pronounced exactly how it looks, this one.
No, my dude, I can't reach my monitor right now. It's like 4
Hmm.
feet away, and I was trying to read like size 10 font.
Jesus Christ, I'm sitting like a foot away from mine.
Well, my camera points this way, so you can see my my bookshelf. Which means I have to sit like off center.
Yeah, that's fair.
My studio is stupid. Zavesh the Grafter, our Lord of Fleshly Artifice, founder of the Grafting Church. Out front of that place, you overheard a conversation between an incredibly muscular woman covered in stitch trails and a man with camera-like implants instead of eyes. Can't help it. The Silver Sword Agency blacklisted me, so it's either church work or go through an independent broker. I'd rather make less money than indirectly go do the dirty work of some Baneworm scumbag. Ooh, nice slang. I should do more slang.
That's
a skill that I lack for some
That's
reason.
not slang.
It's like
racial
in-world
epithet.
jargon, I should say.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not a racial epithet. It's just it's slang, basically.
It's like the characters in Bash and Black that are always saying "bastard's blood."
True.
It gives character to the setting. That if she had
It's
just said, do the dirty work
Baneworm.
of it missing out.
Yeah, Baneworm is a colloquial term referring to a specific race.
Fair enough. Why'd they blacklist you? Replied the man, though his tone of voice was one of rhetorical amusement. The woman gave an incredulous reply. Fucking guess. You got caught complaining about favoritism. Yeah, no shit. It's obvious they do it, but if you mention it, they wait until you call a saurian a lizard and blacklist you. Asinine, sanctimonious. I should probably look up what words get me deboosted on YouTube. I'm not Australian.
Yeah.
I swear all the time on here, and I'm not even
feel free to,
anyways. Sanctimonious cunts.
Yeah.
I guess we're both church contractors now, the man laughed. Agencies, contractors, brokers, corruption. The more things change, the more they stay the same, Kreia thought. And the mention of Baneworms reminded her of what the memory slate had said, and the consideration that there were sapient forms of those horrid parasites ran through her head. She shuddered. Did she already encounter Baneworms in chapters 1 through 5?
She encountered a form of Baneworm.
She shuddered and continued into the temple, curious. Within was no silent cloister, but a reception room with a bizarre-looking person manning the counter. Her skin was pale blue, with no hair, eyes, or nose to speak of. Oh, so it's an Asari.
No hair, ears, or nose to speak of. You said eyes. She has very much eyes.
My brain was already making the joke. The latter two only being holes on her head. Most glaringly, she had a vertical third eye which spanned from just above her nose holes to where the top of her forehead would have been if she had any hair. Is this a Tau?
Shit, kind of.
Despite a lack of hair, she had
that.
bony ridges in place of eyebrows. While her horizontal eyes were fixed to paperwork that her hands are feverishly filling in, her third eye snapped to Kreia. Ah, you look new, a foreigner, I presume, and anathemist to boot. Come in with the latest Dragstone Road caravan. It doesn't matter. Are you here to get CQFID printed, or perhaps to get that absolutely horrid anathema burn looked at? The gym is down the hall.
Yeah,
why bring up the gym?
The Grafting Church runs a lot of gyms. They run hospitals and gyms. Like, lifting is part of their religion. I'm not kidding.
Based. Okay, so I'm surprised your editor let you do this. This is after editing, right?
Yeah. Both editors, actually.
You are dropping way too many dialogue tags, in my opinion.
Ooh, is that so?
So, this is my style that drives a lot of my beta readers up the fucking wall because they think they know better when they don't. Because you are breaking for a paragraph break every single time dialogue begins.
Yeah,
and I don't do that.
You don't have to do that. I have to do that. I cannot stop myself. I've tried. It's just part of reflex at this point. It's muscle memory, and this is actually compacted a bunch. I usually do. My formatting is influenced by other web novels, and usually it's spaced out more than this.
Right. So, for those of you not aware, you are actually directly incentivized to create as many page reads as possible for your words, and that means line breaks, line breaks, line breaks. Because people want to be able to basically scan the page and feel like they're rolling down.
Yes.
A lot that goes into it. I'm not going to get into here.
It also feels, as in terms of reader experience, like as a web novel reader, I prefer it like that. Like regular book formatting, in my opinion, doesn't work for web novels, at least not in the site format.
That might be hurting me a lot. I can't not do it though.
It's fair. I don't think it's actively hurting you if you're doing proper formatting.
But what you should be doing, because I've actually been confused multiple times now, is you aren't leading these dialogue paragraphs with who is the one saying it. Which is actually like the most important thing anyone has ever told me, in my opinion. Because I don't actually know who is owning this dialogue block about, you look new. I quickly assume it's not Kreia. But if you just led with the receptionist said, or earlier, when the muscular woman is leading, like I could assume that Kreia was the one not talking, but I had no idea if it was the woman or the man leading that dialogue.
That's interesting. I've actually never had that problem. Like I don't mean with my work. I mean, again, as a reader, I've seen this done many times, and I've never had the problem of telling who's talking.
I
don't want to seem like I'm going skill issue, but
the nuance is typically people who skip that kind of dialogue tag skip it because by the end of the sentence it's obvious.
Yeah.
And that's their explanation, because there's this mantra of don't include words you don't need, which I think is just wrong. But if even the first half of the first sentence is unclear, the reader figuring out who's talking can stop them, which is a mental stumble that you don't want happening, in my opinion. Now that said, I screw that up all the time. It's just a thing I screw up sometimes. So take it with a grain of salt. What can I say?
It's fair.
It's particularly obvious when you're starting an exchange, because like obviously once the guy responds, I know it's the guy, then it's the girl, then it's the guy, then it's the girl, then it's the guy,
yeah.
etc.
Yeah, a lot of I rely on conversational momentum a lot, like where it's obvious that it's a ping pong back and forth.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to write that. It's so satisfying to write that. Anyways, she thumbed to one doorway down the counter. Again, you line break habitually there.
Not me.
And then you line break again for if you're looking to schedule a grapher appointment, you'll need to get a health assessment first.
Yeah.
Ugh. Fair enough. I'm sorry. Kreia wasn't particularly eager to register in any systems before she could find out the ramifications of such an action. Just looking around, she said, doing just that. A real wood and metal bounty board caught her eye, particularly sketches that informed people with bounties for crimes such as body theft and banisher kidnapping. She also caught sight of a piece of paperwork that explained what CQF meant, capability and qualification framework. Not close quarters fighting? What? Excuse me? I could use a spot of bounty hunting, she muttered, turning to the receptionist for a moment. Do I need an ID to claim a bounty? No, though other contracts will be inaccessible to you until we can ascertain your capabilities. Say I can deal with a handful of those half-torso things that prowl in Jazaraba without a void key. How's that? A handful of Turith? The receptionist raised an eyebrow ridge. 5, give or take 1 or 2. That would make you the receptionist squinted before snapping back to a professional countenance. Please come here so I can ascertain your claim. Just repeat it to me while looking into my third eye. Is that a mind reading third eye? If that is, that's a elegant method.
It's a lie detector third eye.
Yeah. So that's an elegant method of world building.
Yeah.
Kreia did, despite the fact the duo from earlier had just entered and the goggle-eyed man had turned his gaze towards her. Her distrust of organized systems and desire not to draw undue attention was not quite as strong as her ego streak, which she had cultivated through her time in Megacity Gamma's underworld. Oh, it's actually Gamma World. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's called Gamma World, not because of... I honestly don't know what I might be unintentionally referencing.
Dude, I am constantly scared I'm going to make unintentional references
People
when
keep
I
asking,
am...
yeah, people keep asking me if I'm referencing Worm. I've never read Worm.
I swear Worm is just like an assumed touch point that almost nobody has actually read at this point.
Yeah.
Projecting an aura of power was often just as good as actually being powerful. It hadn't saved her from a monomolecular whip through the neck, though.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device. Seriously, she relies on a reputation so fucking much, and I didn't intend it, but it worked out.
You might want to give something out of the night side a try. It's an interesting story that I just read because he just keeps throwing ideas at you like a shotgun blast to the face. And one of the main points is the main character is like okay in the fight, and he far more relies on the fact that people are scared to fight him than his actual ability to fight.
Yeah, that's a thing in Cherno as well. Like she very quickly develops a reputation, and like even though she's not objectively a powerhouse, people treat her as such.
Okay, I've defended myself against a pack of Turith without void key, barriers, or words of any kind, she said, expanding on her earlier claim. The receptionist looked down at her papers and back up at Kreia. Well, that would qualify you as a G3 or perhaps F1, making you an exterminator, just a step below a proper contractor. Quite good to start with. I can either print you a basic CQF ID or file a paper record in our archive with your description. Is it a self-contained item, or is there an archive of IDs somewhere? We don't archive CQF IDs, and there is no single archive of them either. Many agencies do keep thorough records of their roster of contractors, however, like the Silver Sword Agency. The receptionist nodded. All right, give me the ID. So how much... I'm going to stop there because there's a scene break there. Mm-hmm. How much did that change between your initial posting on Royalroad and after working with the editor?
Surprisingly not much.
I had a style quibble, but there's no errors in that. There's no flow issues like that. That's perfectly clean, functional prose for what you're doing.
Let me take a look right here. I don't think I remembered a lot of edits on that scene. I'm just gonna give you. Oh, hold on. If you wanna skim the original web novel chapter, it's here.
Sure, private chat.
Yeah. A lot of the editing was formatting from the original web novel, but like prose wise, this particular scene hasn't changed to a significant degree.
You did change the dialogue tag starting the conversation between the muscle girl and the guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting style choice. You dialogue tag her thoughts with double quotes, or rather, you originally did. The editor got rid of that.
Yeah. Because my line of logic to start doing it was that it's internal monologue. I don't usually write out like surface passing thoughts. I only bother to write it out if it's literally the character going internal monologue.
I normally don't do internal monologue myself, but my detective will is the only perspective of any of my books where I do explicitly internal dialogue. And for
Yeah.
that, I actually break my own rule of inline line breaks and all that. And his thoughts get their own line in italics.
Yeah,
And it's just something I did years ago, and now I have to keep it up for the series.
I don't do internal monologue a great deal.
I like using it because you can juxtapose sometimes very funny actual thoughts compared to saying the polite or professional thing. I'm not sure Kreia is the kind of person that doesn't say what's on her mind, though.
Yeah, she does. I certainly have a type.
Hey. I encourage anyone to read my books and take a guess. You'll probably be correct. Okay, so skimming over this chapter, it does look basically the exact same. With it, basically, I think the editor just kind of tweaked the formatting to their particular style guide.
Yeah, a lot of the editing was style adjustments. If a particular sentence or section happened to read strangely, then they would, adjust it. A few sections got rewritten. Generally speaking, the fundamental nature of my prose remained intact. Like, it's not as if the whole book got reworked or anything.
Right. So do you think you actually learned anything, or was this basically just a third-party polish pass you got?
I definitely learned things from the edit pass, and it definitely influenced me to change how I write.
Oh, so that is, in my opinion, the best reason to actually go get an editor. Because, like, I've worked with editors before, so I have strong opinions about editors. If you don't walk away from working with them able to write better afterwards, you've been scammed. So that apparently didn't happen for you.
Yeah, there was one. There was a first pass editor, and then Moonquills. I'm not sure what her position is. Like, I think she's like a head editor or something. She did a second pass over the already edited manuscript, and I had to. Well, I didn't have to, but I did take it upon myself to actually go over all the suggested edits and check them and veto the ones I didn't like. And it was pain, suffering, torment. It wasn't necessarily difficult, but like the sheer number of decisions that had to be made, that it was just exhausting mentally.
Yeah, I've seen other people with their marked up stuff having to check every single something that happens with me when I've worked with editors. They sometimes they have very strong opinions about commas. When commas are like the most fucking optional piece of punctuation in writing, period.
But I generally I trend towards the Oxford comma because it often sounds better in my head.
Oxford comma is one thing, but you don't necessarily need commas to denote a clause.
I was devastated when I was told to stop using semicolons.
You got told to stop using semicolons?
Yeah, I was told to stop using semicolons and to start using em dashes instead, and to generally use it less. You know, to use compound sentences less.
Dude, that's oh my god. Punctuation isn't real. People need to fucking realize this. Punctuation is not real. Aside from periods.
We just put a happy little em dash here.
Punctuation was never invented as a form of denoting meaning.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Really does is
I understand why.
Interrupts the pace at which you should be reading the sentence.
Yeah, I understand why that told me why the advice was given to me, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. I do think it makes it more
if
readable.
The advice boils down to because the average reader is stupid, is that really something you want to be encouraging? If you want money, sure.
Oh no, actually, no. Let me go back. It wasn't just stop using this punctuation altogether. It was use it less and replace all the semicolons with em dashes. Because apparently I hadn't been aware that that's the norm, that the em dash has functionally taken the place of the semicolon.
The internet just likes an em dash, and the thing is, it depends on what you're trying to do, because an em dash reads faster than a semicolon. A semicolon is a partial stop, whereas an em dash is jump into this clause and jump out.
Fortunately, Retribution Engine isn't getting published, so I can use semicolons all I want. It's fine.
You're talking about compound sentences, though.
I'm genuinely not mad about it. It's fine.
To advertise the free book club again, we're reading Notes from Underground. There's I swear a couple pages in that book have been a single sentence because he just doesn't use periods, and it's one of the most famous literary works you can find in English.
Jesus Christ, that's too much even for me.
It's not though, dude. Read the book. It's only 130 pages. It's worth your time. If you have any taste,
I'm sure it works, but the idea of a full page sentence is just imposing.
Well, it's only a full page sentence, technically, because he doesn't use periods. He definitely wraps up ideas and then just links them into the next sentence the way people talk. Because if you were to actually explicitly write out what I've been saying in this paragraph, you would realize I haven't actually had a period in anything that I've said for the last 40 seconds. And that would simply fill up an entire paragraph without a period. And you understood everything I just said. I think.
Yeah. I would have to read it to make an educated opinion.
Well, you could join. You're already in the Gilded server, so you totally could, and then you could come on the live stream to talk about how it's not really a story; it's more of a philosophical rant written in an entertaining manner.
I definitely can imagine full page sentences in a schizo rant instead of a story.
It's not quite schizo, but it's a self-absorbed, vain, but also depressed rant.
Ah, yes, the average Tumblrism.
Kind of. Tune in next week for the book club live streams. I really want to talk about Notes from Underground because it's such a clear demonstration of a very particular kind of person. But that's not tonight's stream. We've been going for an hour here, and that's usually how long I try to make these streams. So Akaso, I'm going to give the floor to you right now. If you want to take another moment to pitch, if you want to add anything to the chat.
Sorry, what? I blinked out for a moment.
It's been an hour wrapping up. What do you got for closing statements?
Honestly, I don't have a great deal. Just go to Cherno cast it. The initial, it's right there on the site. It's free. You don't have to pay. It's right there on the Royalroad. You can go read it.
Are you getting a male or a female to voice the audiobook, by the way?
Female.
Nice. Okay.
It took some. I wanted someone with a with a raspy voice so that it would sound correctly when Kreia is talking.
That probably doesn't sound easy to get.
Yeah, no, I had to go through a fair few people before I found someone that sounded mostly correct. In terms of pitches, look, Chernocaster. Honestly, I'm slightly disappointed that they didn't use the Perdido Street Station comparison, because that really stuck with me.
Have you even read Perdido Street Station yet?
I have it sitting on my desktop. I haven't opened it.
Bruh, go read it, and you can come back and we can talk about that, because Perdido Street Station is probably like the one review from the last year that I reconsider fairly regularly of if I didn't give it a fair crack.
Anyway, yeah, I'll make a concerted effort. Anyway, so yeah, no, I don't have a great deal to say. Chernocaster, there's a lot of violence. There's like I'm very proud
is violence.
Of the way
it's got
I
good
wrote.
style. Is in a niche of the biopunk sci-fi stuff. It's currently available on Royalroad. When are the other formats coming out? Has that been announced yet? Or is it just follow you on Royalroad for updates?
Originally, the original release date was April 4th, but for reasons it was made, the window was loosened up, so to speak. So I don't know when it's going to be coming out, but should be soon. Should be second quarter of this year.
Right on. Well, be sure to let me know when that does happen.
Yeah, in terms of the story, I would say I've gotten the comparison Jane Wick or Jane Wizard, because Jane Wick and Wizard, and like it's not far off. It's really not that far off. I am very happy with the way the action turned out, especially in the first arc, so to speak. So if you like high, like fast-paced magic action without a great deal of like super complex effects, you will. I think you're guaranteed to enjoy Chernocaster.
You don't have a different title for every single thing that Kreia's ever accomplished, which gives permanent stat bonuses for the rest of the story that are quickly forgotten?
The characters, the actual character sheet shows up like twice in the span of the first book.
All right. Well, congratulations on getting picked up by an actual publishing house, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, that still doesn't feel still doesn't feel completely real, to be honest.
It'll feel real when you have physical copies in your hand.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice.
All right. Chat, that was definitely your opportunity to get any last minute questions in, and none of you took me up on that. So, like and subscribe.
Yeah.